We are streaming live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining me for another edition of the Sunshine Show. I have a very special guest in the house tonight, the one, the only Silver Aleman, audio sound engineer to the stars, such as Terra and the Expendales and many more. Silver, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited and very nervous, but
No, don't be
stoked to see
nervous.
what we talk about.
Don't be nervous. What's up, Megan, Steven? Thank you all for joining us tonight. We're going to have such a good time. So, Silver, for those of us that may not be familiar with you, can you give us a little bit about your background?
Well, actually, oh no, my internet's unstable. Hopefully it follows through. But I started off in like nursing. That's actually my passion, what I wanted to do originally. And I started doing CNA work at a hospital and then worked at like rehab centers and stuff like that. But eventually figured out that I wasn't really interested because my heart's too big to watch people die or get sick. Not all of them died, but in that case, I just couldn't. It was too much for me. I was young when I started, so I moved on to music, which was my very next passion and my big goal, I guess, at the end of the road. Started doing schooling at In Digital Institute because I was really excited about starting a new, career, new path, and learned about mostly everything. I mean, I learned from, recording, mixing and mastering. I learned a little bit of live audio, kind of mostly was studio work, but that kind of opened up my, my head. I was like, I want to do studio stuff because I want to make records and help, produce beats. But then having to travel to Santa Cruz so much, I actually had I kept seeing the Friday night concerts, and then so I started working in Santa Cruz at the boardwalk.
Really?
I was doing barista work there first. And then I was like, man, how do I get up there? And I kept asking like all the bosses, like, hey, how can I help? How can I push a cart? How can I wrap cables? Or how can I just be there for somebody to boss around, So they're like, actually, we are hiring somebody, a stagehand for Friday night concert, so go apply. Well, it seems like you have some experience. I was like, cool. So I did it, and I started pushing cards, wrapping cables. I met I met Smash Mouth. I was really stoked about that. Met, Los Lobos, worked with Papa Do Run Run, all these really, really cool artists, that our parents grew up listening to, that we grew up listening to, stuff like that, older artists, Eddie Money, R.I.P.
Wow. Do you have a favorite band that you worked with at the boardwalk?
At the boardwalk, I'm good. It's funny because that's a song that they play every time the show's over. At the boardwalk. I'm gonna say my favorite one was Los Lobos because I'm just like, it kind of brought me back, into my Latin culture, and seeing, I don't know, it was just, their performance was awesome. I love the music, and it was just an overall great show. That was probably my favorite show there. But yeah, from there I was like, I need more. I want to touch a soundboard. I'm not here to I love helping out, but my ultimate goal was to eventually mix something, whether it be studio or live. So I just moved on, and I asked my my bosses there. I was like, hey, can you refer me to somebody who I can push carts for them, but at a larger scale, more hustle work. I'll do it all. I don't care. I just wanted to be involved and get up there. And so yeah, they were like, hey, actually I do know somebody. I'm not sure if they're hiring, but you can go and ask them. And I just kept calling and calling and calling. It was like 3 weeks of me calling nonstop, and she called me back. Her name's Mickey. She's like I think one of the great audio engineers in our area. She's very small, local, but she's mixed like Red Hot Chili Peppers. She's mixed Metallica back in their, like when they were nobodies. This is a woman that mixed these bands back in their back when nobody gave a shit, you know, when Red Hot
Oh,
Chili Peppers were coming out on stage with like a sock on their private part and nothing else. And she's told me she told me a story one time and it was crazy. And I was like, really? I can't believe you actually worked with them. But it's really cool. So yeah, she taught me a lot actually about mixing. I started working for her. She called me back. She's like, I somebody bailed. I need some help with um, loading in, setting up. Do you know how to do this stuff? And I was like, in my head, nope. But I told her, yeah, absolutely, I do. And I went and I was like, I mean, I had basic knowledge of like, okay, this is an output, this goes to an input, like, things like that. I
sure.
can, I can, you know, um, signal flows pretty easy for me, but I had no idea how to run any of her gear, or any of the stuff she had. I went and I killed it. I mean, I helped her out as much as I could. I asked a few questions and just kept moving on, met other people, started kind of, climbing that ladder of like, just networking and
Sure.
working for everybody. I met some, and started working for Pro Audio. This was another company that I went into where I started finally mixing a couple of shows on monitors. That's where I mix monitors for Swan Breezy. I got to work with Fiji. I worked with um, Sons of Zion. Like got to work the Cali Roots stage. Mixing monitors,
Nice.
helping mix for E40 and Atmosphere and stuff like that. So it's like a bunch of cool stuff that I got to do once I started climbing the ladder. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
Wow.
eventually I got to, my goal was still to mix front of house. I wanted to monitors is fun, but I kept kind of climbing the ladder and then asking, hey, how can I help you? How can I do this for you? And then not started. I kind of in this whole time that I was doing this live stuff, I started working with Pacific Roots, a band from our area.
Yes.
And
Big shout out to
yeah,
Pacific Roots.
shout out to my boys. Love you guys, and I really appreciate actually the big reason that I'm actually an audio engineer in the reggae scene and the like communities because of those guys. Because I started running sound. I was running sound at the 5K race here, Wharf to Wharf,
Yeah. Love,
and they
love that.
played. They played, with me, and I met them, and I was just like, "Do you guys have a sound guy?" Like that was actually the first time I was really involved, and I was like, "I want to run front of house. I don't care who it's for." So I had like some cool gigs, but I don't care. I want to mix. So I started from scratch. I was like, this band was like, they didn't need a sound guy. They were like, we're barely starting. We don't need you, but sure, you could tag along. Like, this is cool. Like, that would be awesome. So I tagged along and I brought more gear than I ever needed for every show. And it was awesome. And people loved it. And we always vibed. And yeah, just kind of, that's where I started. Really, those are my boys. That's the reason I got here. I wouldn't, that's where I met the Expendables because the next year they were going to do um, another, obviously the Wharf to Wharf, and Expendables played that year, and I was like, oh my gosh, I get to set up. I wasn't mixing for them because my boss Mickey was mixing that show,
Mhm.
so I just had to watch, and I was like, man, the things I would do because I knew I was learning about reggae and I was learning about dubbing and just all this stuff that I wanted to incorporate. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the Expendables right here, and I can't even do anything. I can't even mix. I can't even. I couldn't even have fun with this show. I mean, I enjoyed it and I sat there and it was awesome. But after the show, I was that guy, and I walked up to Adam and was like, yo, what's your story? What do you guys, how's being on the road? I'm just kind of picking his brain about touring and stuff like that. I'd never done it, but I've always wanted to, see new places and just mix and be involved, right? So yeah, he's like, oh, we're kind of going into funk right now. We don't really have like a sound guy. Um, it'd be cool to have somebody local though. Like, well, just give me your number and like I'll keep in contact with you if we ever need somebody local. It'd be dope. Like we could work something out, And I was like, oh, that's so sick. Yeah, I'm like, call me anytime. I'm always willing to work. So I guess I don't know. Pack Roots and Adam manages Pacific Roots, so they were
Okay.
having a talk, and my name came up sometime, and they were like, hey, Silver, we know that guy. Silver actually runs our sound. He's a cool guy, and they kind of talk, and then that's when Adam actually was like, okay, maybe I'll call this guy. I mean, I don't know if that's exactly what happened, but
Yeah.
I feel like that was kind of, you know what, maybe, you know, like I got some confirmation that there's somebody that needs to know who this guy is. You know, he's not just some random dude that like, hey, let me mix for you. It was really cool. I was really grateful. They called me and we did this private gig, and again, I knew nothing about what I was doing. They were like, we're running in-ears, we have our own rack, our own whole setup. All you got to do is take the iPad, you're good. And I was just like, all right, let's do this. And then I got there, and I mean, sorry, Adam, or if anyone's ever watching this, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I mean, I knew mostly what I was doing, but like I was so nervous, and I was just like trying to conquer this. You know, I wanted to reach the next level so bad that I just went at it, and I said, you know, I looked up the in-ears, I looked up everything, and it was like, oh, well, I already know kind of all this stuff. I'll just hook it up. Started doing it, and thankfully, you know, the previous sound guys had things labeled, had things, you know, the way that I started learning things, you know, is, you know, keep things organized, be labeled, you know, have your cables tied up to where they need to be, everything ready to go, and just little things that help out a lot. And I think those sound guys, the previous sound guys, that kind of taught me that, because I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that's how I got that gig with the Expendables, was through Pacific Roots, and they're like, wow, good job, it all worked out. And so they called me for their first.
So you're basically the walking definition of fake it until you make it. Be very kind, and that's how you like build and go up the ladder, right? You're very kind. You did a lot of volunteer work. You knew what you wanted to do, and you made it happen.
Yep. I mean, I'm a big believer on manifestation, and I feel like I manifested it, honestly. And like I just wanted it so bad. I was like, I want to go. I want to go here. I want to go there. I want to work with the Expendables. Like, and it just kept coming. I was like, how is this even happening? You know, like, why is this even happening?
So it was awesome. So I know you tour with the Expendables. You've also worked a lot with Terra over the years. Is that correct?
So I've been with the Expendable. I don't like, how do I say this? I haven't done a tour of the Expendables in a little bit, because I've been working a lot with Terra as well. So I've done a lot of tours back and forth. That's what I'm saying. Okay, I just kind of like hop in when I can. It's not like I'm not like consistently there, but I'm like, if 2020 weren't happening the way it were, I guess I could say I'd be with Terra more, because I'm more involved in their, you know, it's been kind of a growing family thing that it's just hard to let go. I would, you know, those are my boys, and
sure.
I can't even, that's like a whole nother thing to talk about, because like even getting to that is like, I can't even speak about being a part of that team without getting all like weird. And
okay, well, we'll save it for a little bit. Let us say,
we'll get on to that.
Yeah, we'll but we have plenty of time. Let's say what's up to everybody that's joining us. We have Megan, Steven, Eric, Timmy, what is up? Hey, Mama, thanks for hanging out. Axel, Steven Moreno, Jen Armstrong. You guys can watch this video after we're done. It will still be available to rewatch. Steven says, respect Silver. Ma says, fake it till you make it. And Eric says, great story. Thanks for sharing. We're all pretty blown away. At least I am. I didn't realize that you started off in nursing, and now here you are. I don't know how many years later, but like working with some of the biggest heavy hitters in the genre.
Honestly, I'm still blown away every time. I'm grateful. I'm super blessed. I'm thankful. And just, I mean, even like, it's weird transitioning from nursing to audio was weird. And for a second, they didn't like, I feel like the universe wasn't going to let me, but because I was doing a gig, my very first gig on a street festival, helping out with this company that, you know, that I finally hopped on with after the boardwalk. The drummer on stage for a band, they were mid set. I was like filling in, just kind of, you know, I wasn't mixing the show, but she's like, I gotta go bathroom. Can you watch the board? And I was like, yeah, I can. Absolutely. So I was standing there looking like a badass, right? And the drummer collapses and he like has a heart attack on like while they're playing. And I didn't notice. I like had my headphones on, kind of in like dreamland, listening to the mix, and then the drums disappear, and I was like, "What happened?" And I look up, and he's like on, sitting on a snare drum, like face down. And I was like, "Oh my god!" And so I ran up on stage, and I had to do CPR on
What?
him
Are
for
you
like,
serious?
yeah. I traded off with like 2 other people. We were doing CPR on him for like 30 minutes. He was like breathing, and so then paramedics got there and they took him, and he survived. But it was
Wow,
awesome. But
Silver.
it's kind
That,
of like I don't know.
oh wow, that's a great story. I love that so much. Let's talk a little bit about your favorite albums. Do you have a favorite album?
Well, I don't know if I have a favorite album. I listen to a lot of music, but I don't know. I couldn't. I don't think I could pick a favorite album. I love too much of diverse stuff, and
My,
all music.
yeah, some of
What's
my
your favorite album?
some of my favorite albums are like soundtracks, to be honest, because there's so many different types of songs on soundtracks. They don't really stick with one
Right.
genre. Forrest Gump is a really good album. American Hustle is also another very good album. I enjoy both of those very much. How about road stories? You do spend a broad majority of your time on the road, right?
Yeah,
Pre-pandemic.
as much as I can.
Do you have any
But
stories you could share with us?
um,
He's like, they're all top secret.
yeah. No, I'm just trying to think back. I mean, sometimes I have a hard time thinking back, but like here's a story that was like on my very first tour of ever working with anybody, which was with the Expendables. On my first Blackout tour, we were driving through Colby, Kansas, and our bus breaks down in the middle of like a huge windstorm and dust storm. So we have to like call the bus company, and we're on our way to Denver to like do like 3 shows, because we had like 3 shows in Colorado, and then we had to finish the tour. I don't know, I think we went to like Nevada after. It was like the last like week and a half of the tour. But we were in Colby, Kansas, and yeah, the bus breaks down, and we're all like, well, what's gonna happen? They're like, the only thing we can do is you have to wait in a hotel and like basically wait for the next bus to come here, which could be today and could be tomorrow. We're not sure. We have to like contact all these people. So we're sitting there, and we're like, what's there to eat? The only thing to eat was right outside, like for miles. And if you look up, I promise you guys, look up the funnest thing to do in Colby, Kansas, and it is the Wheat Jesus billboard. I shit you not. Look up the funnest thing to do in Colby, Kansas, and it is the Wheat Jesus billboard. And that was for like a whole 2 days. We had to sit there and like in this hotel, like bored, not knowing when our bus was gonna get there, and like we had to cancel a show. It was at the Black Sheep. So I don't know if that's not in Denver. That's somewhere out in Denver. I mean in Colorado, but yeah, it was the Black Sheep, and we had to cancel that. It was just kind of like, oh my gosh, that's my first tour. I was kind of scared. I'm like, is this what it's gonna be like? This is
Like,
gonna
yeah.
happen. We had to detach the trailer. They took the old bus away, so we left the trailer there full of gear. And me and the guitar tech, our guitar tech, Eli, we were just sitting in the hotel room, and we look out, and the freaking trailer is like starting to move along, because like it's a huge windstorm. Like, so like the wind is starting to now take the trailer, and it's like doing this, and it's like moving back and forth. So we had to run out there and push it back. But I don't know. I mean, I don't have very crazy tour stories. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some stuff that I can remember that like I was super crazy. And I mean, things to me like aren't crazy unless they're like unless you hear like a really crazy tour story, like there's not like a crazy tour story unless it's like one of those like, oh my gosh, like some dude did like crazy drugs and was friggin' doing this thing. I don't know. I've heard some tour stories.
Unless someone loses a finger, then it's not a real tour story,
Right.
folks.
Right.
Okay,
With
you've heard it.
Ayaterra, I mean, yeah, I mean, with Ayaterra, we were in New Orleans one time and we did sound check and we blew up their sound system, like in sound check.
What?
Yeah. We were like, uh-oh. And I was like, yeah, that was not us. They had like faulty, like, like power outlets. They didn't even have any grounding. It was just a whole hot mess. But yeah, we did a sound check and we blew up the sound system. Big up Terra for the big sound. They couldn't even handle it.
So how do you come back from that? Like, if you blow out the sound before you even start the show, like, where do you go from there? Or does the show even continue?
Luckily, well, so we blew out one whole side. So literally we had the right side of the system. So we like, well, first we're like, look, can you call venues around here? Can you make a phone call? Like, this needs to be fixed. This isn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
The owner was like upset. He was kind of blaming us, and we're just like, dude, we all our gears on, like, we've got safety, power, we've got conditioners, we've got everything's done the right way every time. And no, he couldn't do anything about it. I just had to run a mono set, no stereo, no effects. No, the effects were there, but it was just all on one side. And I mean, definitely was missing the whole other side of the stage, but we did what we could. We pushed through. The guys, they're great guys. They're some of the best guys to tour with, and they make the most out of everything. They make everything a blessing. And so it's really cool. It was.
So, do you want to can we talk about the Ayaterra story now? Do you want to kind of like?
Sure, yeah, we could merge on.
Cool. So
actually, go ahead.
So I was just gonna say, so how did the whole Ayaterra connection begin?
So first off, I am a huge Ayaterra fan before sound, before anything. You get me? Like, so I was listening to their music. I was listening to Expendales, Iration, Revolution, all the big reggae fans. I am a huge fan still. And I was, I think, in like on a vacation or something somewhere, not on tour. We were just like at a family thing, and I see Nathan from Ayaterra. He posted, he's like, yo, where are all my front of house engineers at? And I was like, that was like 6 hours ago. And I was like, no, I missed it. What the heck? Like, I've always wanted to run sound for these guys because I went as much as a lot of people, I've gone through depression. These guys helped me bring me out, like, it was, I can't even explain it. And yesterday I was watching For the Fans. Jacqueline Ortiz made a video. She's For the Fans, and it was awesome. It was really, really cool to see all the fans out there that felt the same vibe that I feel with them, and to be able to connect. I was like, that's really cool, because I'm like so blessed and so thankful that I can work with these guys and that I get to see their set and like see behind the scenes and be there for anything they need. Now, like, I whatever they need, they can always call me. They know they can call me for gear issues. They can call me for advice on like music or whatever, whether it counts or not. I'm always there to listen and to talk to these guys. But so they've been a big part of me. Their music's just amazing. I think it's some of the best music out there. And so yeah, Nathan posted that and I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe this. But then I look at the comments and I see Cashed Out. I see my buddy Matt Boer from Pacific Roots. A couple of other friends.
What's up, Matt?
Matt, thank you, bro. Yeah, they were just like, Silver's the man, Silver's your guy, like, hit up Silver. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I don't even think I had Nate as a friend. I just added him. I was like, add, and I messaged him. I'm like, hey, I'm Silver. I ran sound for the Expendales. I'm a huge fan of you guys. And like, I'm road ready. I'm willing to work. I've had little experience, but the little experience I have, I can bring it to the table. And I promise that, like, it'll be fun and great, and I hope that I do get to work with you for any moment. It'd be awesome, you know. And it's like, dude, yeah, thanks for reaching out. You know, that's awesome, and I'm glad you're a fan. That's really cool. I really appreciate it. Just super humble and amazing and easy to talk to. So they brought me on. He's like, let me, that'd be awesome. Like, let me get you my management. And they'll call you, and we'll see if we can work something out. See if something works for you. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, what's happening right now? So yeah, later on, I ended up getting a call from management. They're like, yeah, it's this tour. It's their first headliner tour. Um, we're gonna, they're gonna go the full thing, full nationwide. And I was like, yeah, I want to go. Like, I could do it. And turned out there was like some dates that were conflicting, and I was like, I couldn't drop those dates to do this tour because I had already committed. That's kind of like, it's hard for me to drop gigs because anything I get right now, I'm grateful. You get me? So like cutting off or having to trade or say no or be like cancel something, it sucks. So I'm like, I told them, I'm like, look, I can do the second half of the tour. Like, if there's any way that somebody could do the first half, that'd be great. And they're like, well, let me give you a call back. I don't know. Like, they call me back, and Max Bell, I think it's Max Bell. He's from Hyrie. He does Hyrie's front of house. They're like, actually, Max says he could do the first half only. So if you could do the second half, that'd be great. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. Talk about manifesting. Like,
Yeah.
so it's working out. And I was like, yes, I can. And they're like, yeah, cool. Come on. So Coming to Light tour was my first tour with Terra, and it was awesome. And man, just being in a room with those guys, I mean, I hit them up all the time. Like, dude, I miss you guys. That energy is like, it's something else. It's truly genuine people. I've never, if there's a bit of stress, there's always some way that we resolve it, or like, there's always something good always comes out. And it's really cool just the way things happen with that family there. Like Braden, our guitar tech, Dave G, our merch guy. We got, the band all themselves. We got my boy Juan Love, our tour manager. It's just such a great team that I don't know, I wouldn't trade it for anything right now. It's just, or I don't think ever. It's just really cool. Like, I know there's like huge goals and big things, always big things and always bigger things, but like it's kind of weird because sometimes I feel like I'm like, I hit my shot. Like, this is where I hit it. This is a band that like is huge, and they're gonna get bigger. They're not going anywhere. They're not going down anytime soon.
Yeah.
I've got a little sneak preview of their new album, and I can tell everybody that it is beyond anything beyond anything that's been put out right now. It is so magical, and I can't wait for it to be released so that everyone can hear it. But until then, it's gonna be top secret. But it's amazing, and I'm really thankful. I'm so thankful that I can work with these guys.
So Silver, do you feel like, do you still feel starstruck when you're like with them? Do you still get like nervous around them? Like, how does that feel?
No, actually, no, not at all. Not it. It's weird because I get into work mode when I'm not when I'm around them. Like, or like, see, now the Expendables and Terra, I'm like, we're like friends, or like we built like a friendship now, or like a brotherhood or familyhood, right? Of being on the road and doing all these things in different places with people we don't know.
Yeah.
So like, I don't get nervous. I just like, in the moment, for like working an event, I'll do the event and I forget about everything. I make sure that it's all running smooth because I'm already stressed out and like nervous at just in the fact that it's happening. Everything's got to be right and perfect because these aren't, they've got to be perfect for these guys. So usually the show will happen, and then after, when I go home or when I'm done, then I'll sit down. I'm like, oh my goodness, that was so awesome. Did that just happen? Yeah. So like, I don't get starstruck at the moment, but later I kind of reflect and I'm like, wow, that's like so cool. But no, like at shows when we're on tour, like that's my family right there. I see them as, they're regular people, but they just have the magic. they've got what it takes, and they put it out there and they hustle, they work so hard, and they're nonstop working, every one of them, and it pays off. It's showing. It shows that it pays off. Hard work pays off.
I can see it in your face and just in your energy and the way that you talk. When you're speaking about them, and it just makes me so happy to like know how all this like came about, because I've known you for probably about a year now, and you're just the kindest and sweetest person ever, and like just to know that this is like you made your dreams come true just by like faking it till you made it, and that just God, you deserve it. You deserve to be happy. And I'm so happy that you manifested this. And it gives everybody like inspiration and motivation to know like everybody can like fulfill their dreams. It's just about like working hard enough and like having that vision and actually going to do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just never stop. There's been, I mean, obviously hard times. I did a lot of work for free. Did a lot of nitty-gritty, nasty work, wrapping up nasty 300-foot cables, doing, I just doing all this stuff, but there was no white glove in it.
Yeah.
And just put, and it's all gonna be worth it. That's just my thing, is keep pushing. If you're manifesting it and you really want it, then just go. Just don't even stop. There's no reason to.
That is great advice. Is your mama Maria Elena?
Yeah.
Shout out, mom. You did an amazing job with your son. Terry wants to know if you miss your mama when you're gone on tour. I think we all know the answer to this, but I will let you answer that.
I definitely miss my mom when I'm on tour. I miss everybody when I'm on tour. It's weird. It's like when I'm home, I'm like, man, I want to be out on the road, but when I'm gone, it's like a weekend. I'm like, I just want to be home. I miss everybody. I want to like super homesick. But yes, I miss my mom. I love you, and I always miss you, even when I'm not on the road.
Aw. How often, I think I may have already asked you this, but I don't know if we completely covered it. How often do you stay out on the road, like when life is normal?
Well, so I've only been doing this professionally now for 3 years.
Okay.
So in the past 3 years, it's literally been, so like from February to mid-March of a tour, and then all of summer. So set like June to August on and off. So it'll be like maybe like a 4 week, 5 week, and then break, and then another 4 week, 5 week, and then like a October, November, and then there's nothing really in December, January. So it's like kind of as
Con-
much as I can. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's kind of constant, but like those like little like end of November to late January is just like that depression. Not depression, but just like the tour blues, you're like, man, I really miss it. What's going on?
You're texting Nathan every day and everybody from your crew. That is too funny. Let me just thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. We have Silver in the house, audio engineer to the stars. You guys probably have heard him at Cali Roots or mixing Terra or the Expendables. You are an amazing individual, Silver. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your night to spend with us. We have a few more questions for you. And if anybody has any questions for Silver, drop those in the comments. I will try to get to them as soon as possible. Jeanette says that we have enjoyed 2020 having you home. And I'm sure, right? Because 2020 has been really weird. How have you like dealt with that? You're used to being on the road. You said, you were getting the blues in December and January because you weren't on tour. What happens when you're not on tour for the whole year? How do you deal with that?
Just having to fill the time. I have to be outside a lot. I'm always like, I get up, I get out, and I'm like, all right, what am I gonna do? I've opened up my own little studio. You can see behind me, it's just a photo, but because we don't get signal inside of it, it's in a storage container. But I've opened up a little studio that I've been recording bands at local, been mixing and mastering for people that send me stuff. So I've kind of adapted in that way. But other than that, I'm just kind of like, waiting, just getting anxious, and just answers, no answers, and changes, and plans getting changed and canceled and all this. And I'm like, it just gets overwhelming sometimes. But I don't know. I've just learned to just keep moving, be outside, keep my fingers moving, like keep mixing, keep working on. I have a bunch of recorded stuff. Like I have a bunch of Expendables and I Terra sets recorded multi-track, so I can run them back into my console and I can like change things, dub things out. I can work on my set. So I've been doing that a lot, just locking it in so that way the fans can enjoy something too.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah,
that is one of the good things that have come out of this is that for musicians, we have a lot more time to perfect our instruments and maybe do some songwriting. And then for like audio engineers, you guys have a lot of time to like really perfect your technique as well, because the band
right.
is really only as good as their audio engineer is. Is that true?
Um, it's like a yes and no thing for me. I honestly, if you got a great band coming in, like coming into your faders, like you could throw them up and it's gonna sound great. Once you start, it's when you start nitpicking, start pulling those little things out, the harsh frequencies, things that clash, where you know each individual engineer gets their magic and creativity from. It's kind of all, how do you say, like their own our own perspective, right? Like this is how I feel it should sound. This is my creativity coming at you. So I feel like the band brings the magic, but we just kind of give it our flavor, our taste. Like I want it to sound like the album. We all want it to sound like the album, right? So that's kind of our goal. We're out there sitting there dialing in those things. What effects are they using? What vocal transitions or guitar solos? When are the solos coming in? Just things like that. That's where it makes the shows. Like, is the engineer watching and waiting? I see engineers sometimes. I mean, I'm always, always, always learning. Don't even. I'm not. I still have a lot to learn, and I will always learn, and I will always take feedback and criticism and learn and just be there because this is what I love to do. This is my passion. But sometimes I just see guys. I mean, one, they're like not happy to be there, and I'm like, dude, what I would do to be in your shoes, like this is a great thing you get to do. Not everybody gets to be on the road. Not everybody gets to make this a living. It's just really cool and magical. So embrace it and love it. And so I just see some guys just be lazy or angry or like they don't rip those solos. The solo comes in and it's like, where is it? And I'm like, come on, man, bring it up, bring it out. or like, where's the kick drum? I can't feel it in my chest. Where's the emotion? Like in your mix? Like, yes, the band sounds great. It sounds cool, but like it's missing some emotion, like that little extra, like, and he's not really there. Like it's a set it and forget it. He's like, this is what happened at sound check, and like that's it, don't touch it. But
Gotcha.
I
Yeah.
don't like that. It's like the environment's changing, the crowd's getting louder, the things are moving, the now it's a packed room instead of an empty room, and everything's changing. Everything changes, as Soja says.
Yeah. Olga says, okay, we have a couple of different questions here. Francisco wants to know if you're single.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, we can pass on that. Mom already said, mom
I'll
already,
take it.
mom answered for you. Don't worry. Let's see. We have a couple of good questions. Jesus, thank you so much. My band always gets a good check on the kick drum first and build off of that. Is that a normal practice, or where do you start?
It depends on the venue. Honestly, I've learned I usually, that's kind of my go-to, is I start with the kick drum and then I'll move my way to the drums and so on. But I've learned from other engineers that if you start with the vocals, you kind of get like starting with the vocals kind of gives you like a good setting of like where the mix should be, right? Like this is nothing should be higher than the vocals. So I kind of get my mixes based off that.
Okay.
Lately, that's kind of where I've been going, is I get my vocals nice and good, I get my effects going, I get everything nice and clean, and then I'll bring the band in. But it kind of depends. Some places I'll be like, well, it's kind of a nice room, I want to hear what the subs sound like, I want to hear what that sounds like first, and then I'll bring in vocals and all that, because I already know it's kind of going to be just overall nice. There's venues you go to and you're like, yeah, these are the venues that people talk about. So it just all depends.
Interesting. So venues come with their own
Acoustics.
acoustics. That's what I was going for. So
Yeah.
every venue different. It's all different depending on like the size of it, what it's made out of, and all those things can affect the sound waves.
Yep, being inside, outside. rain or shine.
Rain or shine, everybody. Okay, let's see. We have a few more questions. Fans want to know, will you be doing your own music album soon?
I am actually not my own, but I'm in a band. I play drums right now in a band. We're called Big Feeling. If you guys want to check us out on Spotify, we have a single
Wait,
out.
what? Wait, you played the drums, Silver?
Yeah.
When were you gonna tell me that? When are we
Not
gonna
as good as
jam?
Sam or Adam, so don't even ask. I'm not as good as those guys. But yeah, I play the drums in my band. We are called Big Feeling, and we're working on our EP. And yeah,
Awesome.
I do plan on releasing some music.
That is amazing. Thank you. So Nathan from Terra is in the house. What is up, Nathan? We have just been talking all about you. And how amazing you guys are. Big shout out to you. You have a very special and amazing audio engineer. And thank you for getting him through everything that he needed help with. And we are blessed. We are very blessed. Big Feeling. Thank you, Jessica, for dropping that link. Everybody go follow Big Feeling on Facebook. Go check them out on YouTube, Spotify, and all other streaming platforms. Nathan, Silver is the best FOH in the world and the best human I've ever met. I second that. Yes, Nathan, that is true. He is an amazing man. And we all feel the same about you. Mom says you've been very talented since you were 2. Another one says since the day you were born. Somebody wants to know if you wear boxers or briefs. I don't know if that's appropriate.
I wear briefs. They're more comfortable. I ain't about that whole loosey goosey shit.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your mixing rig or what you mix on.
I currently work on a Midas M32. If anyone knows what that is, it's a 40-channel digital console. Really fun and easy to work with for beginner engineers and touring engineers. It's versatile and you could take it anywhere, and it's very, very strong. I've had mosh pits during an Expendable show, and I've had that thing tipped during a Pacific Roots show. It fell to the floor. That thing is durable. I vouch for Midas, and it's been awesome. It's a great board. I would love to work on some great pieces of gear. I mean, touring, there's so much consoles out there, so much great gear that I see and use, and learning it makes me want more. I want this next piece of gear. It's so good. But yeah, I use that. I've been recently messing with like outboard, like auto tune stuff like that off of my Universal Audio Apollo. I just been running like a send and return, so I can run some digital effects if I want to. It's kind of like the little rig I use live. Very simple, but it gets the job done. I use 3 digital delay pedals, the 3 RE20 pedals. If anyone's curious, 2 reverb pedals. I use a Hall of Fame and I use a Holy Grail reverb pedals for the dubs. Those are my dubs. That's my dubs section. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you all for being here with us. We appreciate it. Drop your questions in the comments. I've got to let Silver go in approximately 12 minutes because he has school. But we're going to run through a few more of these questions. Silver, thank you once again for hanging out with us. Let's see. Oh, this is a good question. If you could have a dinner party with any 5 musicians, alive or dead, who would they be and what would you serve?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Honestly, right now it'd probably just be with the 5 musicians would just probably be the Terra family because I miss those guys right now.
Oh, Silver!
I would serve vegan mac and cheese and some I don't know what do you guys like again? What was it? They're eating vegan mac and cheese. They got some weird stuff out there. Some those vegan little chicken nuggets.
Little
Vegan
chicken nuggets. Mama
they
says
got the vegan
Mama
orange
says
chicken.
she can cook.
Perfect.
Perfect. Thank you, Mama. We appreciate that. Everybody share this right now. We want to get this interview out into the world. Silver deserves nothing but the best. So let's do that for him right now. We love you, Silver. We really do. Would you ever sell your soul?
No.
Perfect.
I've considered it, but no.
Perfect. I was hoping you were going to say that. Do you have a pet peeve in the audio field that you can share with us?
Yeah, the only pet peeve I have is that just be humble and quit trying to like one up everybody or just be like the guy, the best guy. I was like, because we're all there for the same reason, right? Excuse me. But like, we all love music. We all want it to sound great. We all want to feel great. We all want to do all these great things. It's like if we do them together, the more we do them together, the less it's stressful, the less problems happen, and the more problems can be solved quicker. So just kind of like my pet peeve is just the guys that aren't that way. It's like the guys that are like either angry or just kind of stingy, or their egos are so high up here that like they won't even teach you something that you're like, look, man, I can learn, or I've never done this before, and I'm sure you learned at some point too, right? Like just be cool. It's okay. I'm not here like, I'm not here to be better than you. I'm here to do what you do because like I enjoy it just like you do. And that's the only pet peeve I really have in what I do, because music is so great and this industry is amazing for anyone that loves to work hard. And if you're in it for the money, then you're not in it for the right reasons, and you're not going to be happy. You got to be in it for the love and the music.
Oh,
Always.
I love you so much. Nathan says silver equals no ego. You're a badass. We all love you. Oh, let's see. Jessica says the wire is getting wrapped wrong. You hate that.
Oh my gosh, yes. I hate when people wrap my cables. I'm like, just put it back. Or like they'll wrap it and I'll like be okay, they'll wrap it and then I'll like turn around and I'll uncoil it and I'll rewrap it myself. But yeah, I hate bad cable wrapping. If you're gonna be in this industry, you gotta wrap a cable. You gotta learn how to wrap cables.
Have you seen that meme where it's like it like shows people's like mental states like by the way they wrap their cable, and like some are like, have you seen it, like the OCD, and then the ones that are just like mentally unstable, like their cords are, that's what my cords look like. You would hate to like be on the
Oh
road.
my god.
I know it's awful. Like,
just
really
send them to me in a box, in a COVID sanitized free box, and I'll uncoil them for you, because that is like another passion of mine. It's like a weird like fetish is uncoiling cables.
So you can have Silver uncoil your cables for a very low price of $19.99 plus shipping and handling. If you are interested in that, hit him up, slide into those DMs.
The link below. I'm kidding.
Let's see, Lane Patterson, have you ever had to do the placebo gain? Monitors are max, but the talent demands more.
That is the best game. And yes, I play it all the time. And I've actually played it on Terra, and I think we joked about it one time, and I was like, I haven't even touched the board yet, and we kind of joked about it back and forth, like, have you even done anything yet? And I'm just like, no. Or like they'll be like, yeah, it sounds good. And I'm like, all right, cool. That's perfect. Didn't touch a thing, but let's go. As long as we keep moving forward, we're good. Yes, definitely. Monitors, everything's peaking, and you're just like, God, if I go anymore, this show's ruined.
Wow. Yeah, I bet you have to. I mean, I guess it just depends on the talent. And you, like you said, there's like the bands that you work with, you obviously like believe in them and you're very passionate. So I'm sure you filter out the people that you work with too, dependent on multiple things.
Yeah.
Nate says, don't rat me out.
Hey, bro, I'm ratting myself out.
All right.
I was fake it, sending you vocals this whole time. I'm just kidding.
Do you have favorite mics, plugins, or DAW that you use?
Yeah, I use plenty. I use lots of them. I'm really liking right now. I have the SSL 4000 G bus. I'm liking that. I'm liking the, if anyone's used the Mog EQ4 for vocals or just to put on your submix for like a nice rich and get that air, that nice like in your mix, like, or vocals, I swear. I already told my buddies, I told the Aya guys, I'm like, Mag 4, baby. EQ4, that is the one. That's my go-to plugin is right now is like
Okay.
the EQ4. It's got that nice richness. It's not harsh EQ. It's really smooth. I use Fab Filter EQ, Pro Q. I use a bunch of stuff. My favorite DAW is Pro Tools all the way. Um yeah, it's perfect for everything. Tracking, recording, well, same thing. Mixing and mastering. um yeah, I love Pro Tools. I'm using Focusrite Octopre's right now, and soon hopefully upgrading to the Universal Audio Rack because that will just make my whole life amazing. Everything that sounds, all the sounds coming out of that thing will be beautiful. So yeah, that's my goal is to get the Universal Audio Apollo Rack, and that's kind of the gear I run here at the studio. I use SM7B vocal mic in here. My favorite vocal mic in the studio is a U47 Neumann or Telefunken, sorry. But yes, fun little geeky, nerdy audio talk.
So we have about 5 minutes before we got to get you going on the way because you have class. But let's talk a little bit about how we can support you to, do what you need to do. Do you have like how do we support you?
The best way to support me right now is go like my studio page, share, tell your people if anyone wants to record, mix, master, or
What's your
any live audio need. Silver Studios, California, like Silver Studios CA. It's on Facebook, Instagram. I do live events. I'm doing socially distanced, I did one church event, so like I'm helping like the churches if they need any help with audio stuff, and yeah, just share, just like everyone's doing right now is helping and sharing each other's stuff and spreading the word, and just brotherhood. Everybody be family. Reggae community's been great, and it's been such an awesome thing. So just the whole family love and peace, unity, it's all great. So that's how you can support me, is keep being great.
Awesome. This is I've had such a good time with you tonight. Thank you once again. Thank you all of you at home that have joined in tonight to chat with me and Silver. If you guys join late, this will be available when we're done. You guys can go back and rewatch the whole video. It's been an amazing hour, just talking to one of the most humble audio engineers in the genre of Cali roots rock reggae. Thank you, Silver. It's been such a blessing having you with me tonight, and I just appreciate you and everything that you do.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Um,
Super nervous. Awesome.
No, you did great. You were so amazing, and you gave us a ton of information, a ton of knowledge. Before we go, one last question. Do you have advice for people who are wanting to break into the field?
Um, the only piece of advice is just go crush it, man. Just be willing to work, be willing to learn, be willing to experience new things. Never say no. If an artist wants something and you can't do it, you figure out the best way to make something similar happen. Just crush it. Just go do it and don't look back, because there's a lot of roadblocks in this kind of stuff, and you just got to be courageous. You got to be strong. Just keep going
Well,
and manifest.
I think a lot of people are going to find a lot of inspiration and motivation from your story. I know I'm very motivated. I didn't even know your whole story, and my mind's blown. I love you so much. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to drop all your links in the comment section so everybody can go out and support you. Everybody at home, make sure you go and support Silver, support his projects. Support Terra, the Expendable. We're all in this together. You guys stay kind. You never know the battles that people are facing within. I love you, Silver. I hope that you come visit me soon in Santa Cruz.
We'll have to set up a show or something. Let's get it going.
Yeah, I'm so down. Have a good time at school. I will talk to you again soon.
Yes, thank you. Have a good one.
Bye. Bye, everybody.